So Lila's technically dead. She entered into contemplation, and there was this heat generated by pranayama, which pranayama is normally associated with certain yogic breathing exercises. And after 15 days of this, her body, it said, became vaporized. It sounds like all the moisture went out of it, and then it was cremated, and she's in her ethereal body. So I expect Leela's had to come to terms with that, but she's enlightened, so it doesn't really matter. When the second Leela saw them before her, she fell at their feet and worshipped them. So the second Leela is she's not really a future incarnation of the, she can't really be a future incarnation of the enlightened Leela, because the enlightened Leela has got no more karma, no more karmic consequences to work out. So she's some sort of thought projection, the other Leela, the second Leela. Anyway, Saraswati asked her, "Tell us how you came here." The second Leela replied, When I fainted in the palace of Viduratha, I did not know anything for some time. I then saw that my subtle body rose to the sky and was seated in an aerial vehicle which brought me here. So when you die, you go into this subtle body, apparently. And I saw that Viduratha was lying here asleep in a garden of flowers. I thought he was fatigued from battle, and without disturbing him, I fan him. Of course, this is the body of Padma, who's dead. Saraswati immediately let Viduratha's jiva enter the body. The king at once awoke as if from slumber. The two Leelas bowed to him. The king asked the enlightened Leela, "Who are you? Who is she? And from where has she come?" The enlightened Leela replied, "Lord, I am your wife in your previous incarnation, and your constant companion, even as a word and its meaning are. This Leela is your other wife. She is my own reflection, created by me for your pleasure. And she who is seated on yonder golden throne is the goddess Saraswati herself. She is present here on account of our great good fortune." Hearing this, the king sat up and saluted Saraswati. Saraswati blessed him with long life, wealth, and so on, and enlightenment. Vasistha continued. After granting the desired boons to the king, Saraswati vanished at that spot. The king and the queen fondly embraced each other. The royal attendants who were guarding the king's body woke up and rejoiced that the king had come back to life. There was great rejoicing in the state. People far and wide recounted for a long time how the Queen Leela returned from the other world with another Leela as a gift to the king. The king heard from the enlightened Leela all that took place during the previous month. He continued to rule and enjoy the blessings of the three worlds through the grace of Saraswati, which he had no doubt earned by his own self-effort. This is the story of Leela, O Ram, which I have narrated in detail to you. Contemplation of this story will remove from your mind the least faith in the reality of what is perceived. Truly, if only that which is true can be removed, how can one remove what is unreal? There is nothing to be removed, for all that appears to be in your eyes, the earth, etc., is nothing but the infinite consciousness. And if something has been created, even that has taken place by it. Within itself, everything is as it is. Nothing has ever been created. You may say that what appears to be is the creation of Maya. Maya is the cosmic illusion, but then Maya itself is not real. Rama said, "Lord, what a grand vision of the ultimate truth you have given me. But, Holy One, there is an insatiable hunger in me for the nectar of your enlightening words. Pray explain to me the mystery of time. In the story of Leela, Sometimes a whole time was spent in 8 days, sometimes in 1 month. I am puzzled. Are there different time scales in different universes? Vasistha replied, O Ram, whatever one thinks within oneself is his... O Ram, whatever one thinks within oneself in his own intelligence, that alone is experienced by him. Even nectar is experienced as poison by him who fancies it is poison. Friends become enemies and enemies become friends, depending upon one's inner attitude. The object is experienced by one strictly in accordance with one's inner feeling. To a suffering person, a night is an epoch, and a night of revelry passes like a moment. In dream, a moment is non-different from an epoch. A lifetime of Manu is but an hour and a half to Brahma. Brahma's lifetime is a day of Vishnu. Vishnu's lifespan is Shiva's day. But to the sage whose consciousness has overcome limitations, there is neither day nor night. So that's the story of Lila and Padma. Padma means lotus and Lila means play, and the lotus is a symbol of enlightenment. I think we can. There's probably the story is probably an enhancement of the meanings of the names there. Sometimes the whole phenomenal reality is described as the play of consciousness. It's the play of the enlightened consciousness, and so Padma would be the enlightenment and Lila the play, and they're married together. They're aspects of the same thing. So that there's food for a little bit of contemplation there in the names of Padma and Lila. The story's been quite fantastic. It's involved travel throughout the universe, travel to past lives, to future lives, travels in the ethereal body, and I've been a little bit apologetic about this notion of the ethereal body and travelling in it and how the yogi attains the ethereal body. But we can use that to chip away this notion we've got of a material world. There's I've perhaps been a little bit too apologetic for this notion of astral projection and so on. Let's let the imagination in. Let's let the reality of the imagination in. Let's chip away at the notion that the world is some kind of cold material place out there. It's not. It's not. There's an imaginal aspect to it which is as real as anything. It's like the unconscious. Is the unconscious real? We tend to think of it as somehow shady and remote, but we're quite willing to accept that it underpins all our behaviour and attitudes. What is real is the imagination. It's not real in the sense that it's competing with the notion of a material world. It's just that the material world, when you start looking into it, there's very little that's material about it. And it is more of the nature of imagination, or as the scientist Sir James Jean said, it's more of the nature of a giant thought.